Life is messy. Most people live as though chaos is the default. They let every distraction, every impulse, every failure dictate the course of their existence. But there is a law older than money, older than society. Control your mind and you control everything else. Fixing your life is not about chasing luck, shouting your intentions, or rearranging your circumstances. It is about realignment from within. Every habit, every thought, every decision you make silently sculpts the architecture of your future. You cannot rebuild your world until you rebuild yourself. This is not easy. The truth never is. But those who endure, those who are relentless in facing themselves, discover a power the rest will never touch. Let's dive deep. How you can fix your life through Stoicism. Part 1. The root of the problem. Most people look outside themselves for solutions. They blame the world, their circumstances, or their upbringing. They chase jobs, relationships, social status, or fleeting experiences, thinking that rearranging the external will rearrange the internal. They buy distractions, seek validation, and expect life to change while their habits remain the same. Yet, the real fracture, the true disorder, always lies within. Your mind is the battlefield. Your thoughts are the architecture. Your decisions are the foundation. Until these are confronted and rebuilt, everything else remains temporary, brittle, and fragile. Marcus Aurelius taught that life is disturbed not by events themselves, but by our judgments about them. Chaos is not out there. It exists in how you perceive it, how you respond to it, and how you allow it to control your decisions. The life you see as broken is often a mirror reflecting the chaos within your own mind. Until the inner world is mastered, the outer world will always betray you. People will disappoint, opportunities will vanish, circumstances will fail, but none of this will matter if your mind remains disciplined and unshakable. Every day spent avoiding responsibility compounds disorder. Every distraction indulged, every emotion unexamined, every decision made in haste or reaction is a brick in the crumbling foundation of your life. The problem is not lack of resources, luck, or connections. It is lack of mastery over yourself. Weakness, indecision, and impulsivity silently erode your potential. You may acquire wealth, gain influence, or appear successful externally, but internally life remains fractured. External fixes are illusions. True repair begins inside, with deliberate action, reflection, and discipline. To fix your life, you must first understand the laws of inner order. The mind, like an empire, requires structure. Chaos cannot govern itself, neither can your life, if your thoughts are unchecked. Begin with awareness. Watch your impulses. Identify your weaknesses. Observe the patterns that sabotage you. Confront the lies you tell yourself, the excuses that cushion your failures, the fleeting pleasures that divert your focus. Awareness is not passive. It is the first act of sovereignty. Without it, no change is possible. Next comes discipline. Not punishment, not restriction for show, but rigorous, silent, relentless control over your actions, your routines, and your reactions. Every habit ignored is a door left open to failure. Every uncontrolled emotion is a storm that can undo months or years of progress. Discipline transforms energy into results, chaos into order, reaction into action. It is the invisible architect of a life rebuilt. Patience is equally vital. The world will not reward immediate change. Life's problems are not fixed overnight. The impatient surrender to frustration. The anxious grasp for shortcuts, and the weak abandon hope. The disciplined endure, the focused calculate, and the relentless act without distraction. They understand that fixing a life is not a project. It is a process. It is slow, invisible, unglamorous, but unstoppable. Finally, deliberate action completes the cycle. Awareness without action is paralysis. Discipline without action is wasted strength. Reflection without execution is meaningless. Fixing your life requires that every insight gained, every lesson learned, every restraint exercised is applied deliberately, strategically, and without hesitation. The man or woman who rebuilds from within does not wait for circumstances to align. They align themselves with circumstances. They shape reality because their internal order is unshakable. So the question is not, how can I fix my life? It is, are you willing to command yourself first? Can you endure silence, embrace discomfort, resist impulse, act with precision, and build foundations strong enough to withstand chaos? Until you do, your life will remain a palace built on sand, temporary, fragile, and deceiving. But once you master yourself, the world itself begins to shift around you. True Stoic luxury is not in wealth or comfort. It is in sovereignty over the self. Fix yourself, and the rest will follow. Part 2. Discipline, the foundation of rebirth. Fixing your life is not about chance, shortcuts, or luck. It is about rigid self-discipline, invisible to the world, but undeniable in its results. Discipline is the quiet engine that turns chaos into order, confusion into clarity, and brokenness into unshakable power. Without it, even the brightest insights and strongest intentions remain impotent. Most people fail because they want results without the work. They want luxury without restraint, freedom without responsibility, and change without the patience to endure it. Stoic luxury begins with the understanding that everything external is a reflection of internal mastery. Marcus Aurelius understood that the self must be governed before the world can be managed. The mind, if left untamed, will obey impulse, fear, and desire. The body, if left idle, will crave comfort over action. The life, if left uncontrolled, will drift aimlessly, shaped by circumstance rather than intent. Discipline is not punishment. It is liberation. It is the act of reclaiming the time, energy, and attention that others squander in distraction. It is the invisible scaffolding upon which your renewed life is built. Begin with habits. The broken life is often the sum of small, unguarded decisions, repeated relentlessly. Neglect, procrastination, and indulgence compound faster than effort and diligence. Discipline requires daily vigilance, rising early, structuring your time, focusing your energy, mastering your impulses. Every action ignored, every moment wasted, is a setback. Every restraint exercised, every deliberate act of focus strengthens the foundation of your future. It is painstaking, invisible, but irreversible. Those who endure this discipline alone gain power that the world cannot touch. Next is emotional mastery. Life will test you relentlessly. Disappointment, betrayal, failure, fear. They will come, often when least expected. Most people crumble under these pressures, allowing emotion to dictate action. Discipline is the shield that allows you to act decisively regardless of chaos. It is the ability to remain composed while the world screams. It is the refusal to trade long-term order for short-term comfort. Every time you master fear, impatience, or anger, you forge an unbreakable link in the chain of your sovereignty. Patience is the silent multiplier of discipline. Rebuilding a life is not instantaneous. It is a slow, relentless accumulation of victories over self and circumstance. The impatient give up. The frustrated sabotage themselves. The disciplined endure. They understand that every day of consistent effort, every small act of focus, compounds until the new life they are creating becomes inevitable. Stoic luxury is built in these unseen hours, in the invisible labor of the mind and the body, far from applause, recognition, or validation. Finally, deliberate action transforms discipline into reality. Awareness, habits, and patience mean nothing without execution. The man who fixes his life acts strategically, decisively, and without hesitation. He prioritizes his energy, cuts away what is unnecessary, and directs focus to what is essential. Every decision, every action, every moment becomes a tool to rebuild, to fortify, to create life that is no longer chaotic, reactive, or fragile. The world will notice only the results, not the silent power behind them. Discipline is the architect. Patience is the cement. Deliberate action is the construction itself. Together, they forge a life that cannot be undone by fortune, circumstance, or folly. This is the second step in Stoic luxury. To rebuild, you must first dominate yourself. Only then will the life you design match the life you desire. A life of clarity, calm authority, and unstoppable progress. Part 3. Command your life. Command your world. Fixing your life is more than internal mastery. It is also about commanding your environment. Most people live in chaos, not only because their minds are weak, but because they allow their surroundings to dictate their behavior. Toxic relationships, cluttered spaces, endless distractions, and trivial obligations act like invisible leeches, draining energy and focus. The world will always attempt to pull you off course. The difference between those who thrive and those who fail is simple. The former shape their surroundings with the same precision they shape themselves. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that while he could not control all events, he could control his judgment and response. The modern equivalent is this: you cannot stop the storms of life, but you can ensure you are the captain of your ship. People who fix their lives understand that control is not tyranny over others. It is sovereignty over yourself and mastery over the conditions that affect your focus. The disciplined mind is like a lighthouse in the storm. It does not stop the waves, but it remains unshaken and guides everything around it. Your environment reflects your priorities. Cluttered spaces breed cluttered thoughts. Negative influences breed internal chaos. Endless notifications and distractions fracture attention. Those who wish to rebuild a life of strength and luxury remove the noise. They cut away what is unnecessary. They protect their time and energy as fiercely as a general guards his fortress. Every boundary set, every commitment enforced, every distraction ignored compounds into a life that supports clarity, focus, and relentless progress. Control also requires strategic action. Life cannot be fixed by random efforts, emotional reactions, or half measures. Those who rebuild understand the importance of deliberate steps. Assess, prioritize, and execute. Each day, they identify the actions that compound over time and ignore the superficial. They do not chase immediate results. They do not react to every problem. They act with precision and patience. The strong do not fight every battle. They select the ones that matter and win decisively. True Stoic luxury. In life, repair is the fusion of internal mastery and external control. Awareness, discipline, patience, and strategic action converge to create a life that is unshakable. Every decision made with composure, every boundary maintained, every relationship assessed, every task executed deliberately, all contribute to the rebuilding of a life that commands respect. The chaos outside may rage, but the life built through these principles is untouchable? Observe those who fail. They attempt to change life without changing themselves. They react impulsively. They surrender to environment and circumstance. They try to patch chaos with shortcuts and temporary fixes. In contrast, those who fix their lives act like architects, engineers, and generals simultaneously. Their focus is precise, their actions deliberate, and their influence extends beyond themselves. The outer world bends naturally to the inner order they have created. Finally, understand this. Fixing your life is not about control over others, but about absolute control over what you allow into your mind, space, and time. Command yourself, control your environment, act strategically, and the life you desire becomes inevitable. Chaos may exist outside, but it cannot touch the life rebuilt from discipline, patience, and sovereignty within. This is the essence of Stoic luxury applied to life itself. Silent power, unseen authority, unstoppable progress. Part 4. The shadow that builds you. Most people fear confronting the darkness within. They avoid reflection, silence, and uncomfortable truths. They distract themselves with noise, consumption, and endless activity. Yet the shadow is where transformation begins. The chaos, the pain, the regret. They are not enemies to be ignored. They are tools of rebirth. The man who fixes his life does not flee the darkness. He walks into it deliberately, examines it, and emerges stronger, sharper, and unshakable. Marcus Aurelius wrote that a man should look inward for strength because the external world is ever-changing and uncontrollable. The modern reality is no different. Your life cannot be rebuilt by others, by circumstances, or by fleeting luck. Only through deliberate confrontation with your own weaknesses, your fears, your impulses, and your regrets can you forge the inner steel required to command life. The darkness is a crucible, and you are the metal being tempered. The weak avoid it. They chase comfort. They seek distraction. They numb themselves with habits that make life bearable, but not incurable. The disciplined embrace it. They endure discomfort, stand alone in silence, and confront the truth of themselves without flinching. Each truth faced is a victory. Each fear accepted is a step toward sovereignty. Each weakness transformed is an investment in unstoppable power. This is the unseen path the world cannot imitate, the quiet process that produces lives beyond measure. Fixing your life requires ruthless honesty. It requires cutting away toxic influences, destructive habits, and illusions of what life should be. The impatient will fail, the distracted will surrender. But the one who moves deliberately through the shadow cultivates clarity. He sees where energy is wasted, where attention is fragmented, and where effort is misapplied. He does not seek recognition for this work. The world does not witness the long hours of reflection, the uncomfortable conversations with self, the relentless pruning of life's chaos. Yet the results are absolute. Every decision becomes sharper. Every action gains weight. Every relationship, task, and moment is assessed with cold precision. The man who has faced the darkness becomes untouchable because he has no fear left to exploit. External chaos cannot disrupt him. Emotional turbulence cannot shake him. The storms of life merely pass around him as he moves silently, consistently, and deliberately toward his reconstructed life. Luxury, power, and influence in life follow the same principle. They bow to internal mastery first. The man who rebuilds in silence commands attention without shouting. The man who endures in darkness generates results that others cannot predict or control. He is patient, relentless, and invisible, until the moment his life reflects the authority he has claimed internally. Stoic luxury is not decoration. It is a state of being forged in restraint, patience, and confrontation with the self. The shadow is no longer an enemy. It is the workshop of your rebirth. It is where discipline is refined, patience is tested, and strategy becomes instinct. Those who fear it remain weak. Those who embrace it become absolute. Life cannot break them, because the foundations were built in darkness and tested in silence. Chaos outside is irrelevant when the internal order is unshakable. The man who walks through the shadow emerges unstoppable, sovereign, and in full command of himself and the world around him. You don't need a new life. You need new discipline. No one is coming to fix you. No perfect moment is arriving. No sudden motivation will save you. Your life changes the moment you decide to take control of your habits, your thoughts, your time. Fix your mornings, fix your actions, fix your standards, and slowly, your life will follow. Because the truth is, a better life isn't built in comfort, it's built in consistency. So start now. Start small, but never stop. This is how you fix your life. This is Stoic Luxury.